Okay, so this is generally the National Honor Society application process. If you go to my eBoard, you can see it's here, and then I've clicked on the NHS Apps 12th tab. In there are 8 post-its, and in order from left to right, so this is Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, and then the main application form is 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8 are below. Those forms you can find on there. You can see they're all attached in the file, or I'm sorry, on each post-it note. And I'm going to be opening them up from my hard drive, but you can download them and see the exact same files that I have. The first of which is a practice grid, which I'm going to open now. It's basically it's the same exact thing as the application form, except you see it says practice grid right there, and it basically gives you a chance to list all of your activities over the years at Hariton in the boxes. And if you make a mistake or two, no big deal. When you turn in the formal application, you can print the formal application, which we'll get to in a second. Second thing is the student checklist of due dates. That's this paper. The application form itself, which we'll see in a second, and the signed parent letter, both things are due on Friday, January 30th. 2 weeks before that, the Form A's and Form B's and Form C's are due, but Form A's, B's, and C's are the recommendations from your advisors or coaches from various activities. Those won't be monitored deadlines. Those are just suggested deadlines so that you get them the papers on time and that they can mail them to me. The entire application, including recommendations, is due on the 30th. So that's really the target date. The third thing there is the parent letter, and this is just a letter to your parents to state generally what's happening and what the application process is about and what a National Honor Society induction is based on: scholarship, leadership, service, and character. It restates the deadline, and then it gives them a way to contact me. This form needs to be turned in with your application prior to the 30th. This form here is the student application form. You can find it here, main application form, on my eBoard, and it's the same exact thing as the practice grid. The basic idea for seniors is that you need to have 70 points. It's written right there. You need to have 70 points written in these boxes, and you can see box A activities are things like clubs, contests, student council, newspaper, etc. Box B activities are 10 points each. Those are theater, athletics, science, Olympiad. You can see the rest of them. And then box C are service and participation. These point values are all fixed. So, for example, if you're on the Hariton Banner, the newspaper, you can earn up to 5 points in that activity. It's up to the teacher or the sponsor of the activity to award you the points. So if you go to Mr. Crook, he might say your participation only warrants a 2 or a 3 or a 4, and then we just take all those. We take however many years you had, we multiply them, we give you a total. And then the same goes for the participations that are 10 points. If you're wondering what the difference is, a decision's been made that these activities down here in the box B are generally more of a time commitment than the box A activities. And those decisions are fixed. That's what I meant by the point values are fixed. Box C again was the community service, and you can earn up to 10 points for every 20 hours of service performed, and we have to validate all this with the service organization that you participated in. Box D is leadership points. Now, in addition to the points that we saw in box A and B up here, the teacher, let's say, again, back to newspaper staff, if Mr. Crook thought you were a particularly strong leader, he can award you up to 5 points in the leadership column, and he does that on one form that you'll give to him. Then we add that in with the activity points, and then that total needs to be 70 or higher. So this would be where you can indicate what you think your leadership is going to be, and then the teacher would fill out what they view your leadership to be, and those are obviously the numbers that we go with. And then here is an opportunity to total, and if your total does not exceed 70, I've left a note here that says, please, you have the opportunity to provide an explanation on a separate sheet of paper, but don't sign your name because this whole process remains anonymous. So say something like, here are the reasons why I was unable to get 70 points. I hope that the faculty council can understand X, Y, and Z, and then they'll make their vote accordingly. The next form here is the cover letter. The cover letter, I just navigated away, one second. The cover letter is here, and it is addressed to the coach or advisor of your club. It basically tells them, here's the deal, this is what a National Honor Society member should be. It gives them a due date and a contact information for me. And again, here's the definition of what National Honor Society as a national organization defines defines their students as: student who participates, student of character, student as a leader. This thing goes in front of the form that they're going to fill out. And the form that they're going to fill out is a recommendation form A if it's an A activity. So again, if it's a Hareton banner, then that's an A activity. And you would give this to your, let me make this a little bigger. You'd give this to Mr. Crook. Don't worry about the student ID number. That's to anonymize you. I fill that out. The only place you ever write your name is in there. And then it gives him the due date. It tells him who to return the form to. That's obviously me. Sorry about that. And then character and leadership, and this is where he can award the leadership points, and his signature is required. Now, if you are on a B activity, that's recommendation form B, which is back here, it's basically the same exact form, but if you notice on the bottom here, 10 is the highest and 1 is the lowest, instead of 5 being the highest. And then you give that to a B, and then any form C's are down here. So recommendation form C. This one has the cover letter included with it because it's going out to a community member. So it's a slightly different letter because this is somebody who's outside of Hareton, and they might not have any idea of what's going on in this process. So it gives them pretty similar information, and then right below it is the recommendation form C. Same form here. They fill out the name of the sponsor, leave the student ID blank, and then continue on through the rest of this, and they'll fill all this out and give them a stamped addressed envelope to mail this back to me, because again, these people are community members who are not members of Hareton. They won't just walk down the hall and stick it in my mailbox. And after all this comes in, all 8 of these, you can read through all 8 of these forms, and after all the forms come in to me, faculty council will meet shortly thereafter, and then they vote. And again, this vote is completely anonymous, and I'll share the results with you as soon as I know them. Induction would happen in May, as is stated in the student guide. If you need more information about which activities fall into Form A, Form B, and Form C, you can refer to pages 17 and 18 of the student guide. And that was something you got at the beginning of the year, but I'm sure it's attached as a PDF file on the school district website. Okay. Email me if you have any questions, occhioj@lmsd.org.